ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकम् भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थे सुभिज्ञेश्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरोप्यहेतुकी। We are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 11, verse number 32. Sri Krishna is replying to the question asked by Uddhava about the characteristic of a devotee, how to recognize him, how does he behave, and what actually is bhakti, what are the processes of devotion. So in the previous 3 verses he described the qualities of devotee, 28 qualities beginning with Kripalu. And then in this verse number 32, he said that one who worships Bhagavan giving up all dharma, he is Sattama. He is the best of sadhus. Although the word Sattama comes in verse number 32, but he pulled it back into the previous 3 slokas and he explained there. And from this one word, Sattama, he basically gave the gist of Varnashram system or the purpose of Varnashram system. Because he said that one who is performing everything without caring for any dharma, he is Sattama, and one who is doing bhakti mixed with jnana, he is Sattara, means he is better devotee, and one who is doing bhakti along with karma is a good devotee. So good devotee, better devotee, best devotee. So that is actually the purpose, as he explained, that you perform karma yoga that purifies the heart, you become free from desires, then you come to niskam stage, jnana marg, and then you become dispassionate about that also. Krishna will speak later on, jnane mai sanyaset, that you offer jnana also to me. And then one becomes pure devotee, as you said, Shuddha Bhakta or Kaivalya Bhakta. Mohini.
I still have a question on a previous class where this verse 18 was discussed, this Shabda Brahmani Nishnato Nan Nishnayat Pare Yadi. So this verse says that if someone becomes expert in Shastra and realizes Brahman but does not understand Bhagavan, then all that effort is ultimately labor only with no real fruit. So, and in the Gita class, we saw that a yogi regains the spiritual impressions from the previous life and is naturally again taking up the process and is drawn back to yoga. So with these 2 statements, is it correct to say that only when a person comes to understand Bhagavan, or at least develops jigyasa for Bhagavat Tattva, only then this will create a spiritual samskara which gets reawakened in the next life, and only realization of Brahman and study of Shastra does not create a lasting samskara that has the power to draw one back to yoga and the future birth again.
So we discussed this. I can all again talk. It also came earlier in one of the commentaries, he said it. So this is important teaching of Bhāgavatam, that without bhakti you cannot attain ultimate liberation. I have spoken that coming to realize Brahman does not mean that they actually become ultimately realized. They come to that because of sattva guna, but they cannot get ultimate moksha. In the process they also commit offense, so there are also samskaras for that. So therefore that verse which came earlier in Bhāgavatam itself, that patanti adha nadrit yushmadangre sveya shrutim bhakti mudasyate vibho kalshyante keval bodha labdhaye. So that is one verse. And yanyarvindaksha vimukta manina tvayasta bhavad avishuddha buddhaya. So there are 2 types of people, or you can say those who do Brahman, who want to realize Brahman. There can be 3 categories of them. There are people who just follow Gyan Marg, but they are not interested in any bhakti They don't engage in any bhakti. There are people like that. So they just follow the straightforward path of Jnana Yoga. So according to Bhāgavatam, this is what it means. Shreya Shritim Bhakti Mudasya Te Vibho. So Bhakti Mudasya means they give up bhakti.
De acuerdo con el Bhāgavatam, eso es lo que quiere decir, como
And Klishyanti Ye Keval Bodha Labdhe. So they undergo a lot of effort for Keval Bodh, means this Brahman realization. So what is a lot of effort? They have to be very renounced. They should not become attached to anything. They have to become situated in sattva meditation. So this is a lot of work. This is what Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, that those who follow the avyakta, the dukkham, they attain a lot of dukkha. They undergo a lot of suffering. In 12th chapter of Gita he also says. So this is one category of Gyan Margis. Then there are some Gyan Margis, they understand that without bhakti it is not possible to attain moksha, so they take recourse to bhakti. But they do not understand or accept that Krishna, whose bhakti they perform, or some form of Vishnu, that he is transcendental. Because their idea is that Brahman is the highest and there is nothing beyond Brahman. So if there is nothing beyond Brahman, then Krishna is not beyond Brahman. And if he is not beyond Brahman, then he is material, because Brahman is the only spiritual reality. So that's why I explained that they say that Maya Akhya Kamdhenu Do Vatso Jivishwara, that the Kamdhenu called Maya has two calves, Jiva and Ishvara. So just as Jiva is conditioned, Ishvara is also conditioned. But it is conditioned, it doesn't look like conditioning, it is conditioned by the Vidya or Sattvic part of Maya. So that's how they say also that when we say that this is Vishuddha Sattva, that's what they mean. For them Vishuddha Sattva means material Sattva, which is part of Maya. For us we know Vishuddha Sattva is a separate dravya, separate padartha, separate object which is belonging to Antaranga Shakti. So therefore these people, this is what it means, Anadriti Yusmadangre, they actually disregard Krishna's feet although they are taking to bhakti. So they are the one, because they have taken to bhakti, so bhakti helps them to rise up to the level of sattva and have a vision of Brahman. But after that bhakti disappears and they are left by themselves, because they also give up bhakti at that time, because they were not using bhakti as a goal. Bhakti was a means. So when they think that okay, I have become situated in Brahman realization, so then they don't do bhakti. But simply this is not going to take them beyond Maya. And in the process they may also commit offense. So that's the meaning that they're having Arohya Krishna Parampada Patanti Adanadriti Yasmad. So they can come down. They cannot stay at that state of Brahman realization, because what is Brahman realization means? You don't have any other experience. It is nirvikalpaka. So when they are still in the material body, their prarabdha karma is still there, so they cannot just remain all the time in the state of Brahman realization. So when they are functioning, then there are good chances of committing offense. So then, although they have attained the state of Jivan Mukta, they again glide down. This is what it means. And then there are third type of Jnana Margis who accept that Krishna is Brahman personified, therefore he is transcendental. They take also bhakti's help to attain Brahman realization or Brahma Sahija, they get it. This is what is described in Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, Na Shochati Na Kankshati, Sama Sarvesu Bhutesu Mad Bhakti Lapte Param, Bhaktya Mama Vijanati Yavaniyaschasmi Tattvata, Tato mam tattvato gyatva labhate visate tadanantaram. So that is visate tadanantaram means they enter after that into Brahman. So this is the process. So we have to know the difference in this. So they may have performed this. When it comes to samskara, they will have those samskaras, but those are not the only samskaras. If you commit offense, then you go down. If you don't commit offense, okay, come back again, because you are still in Maya, or you can have stay in Prakriti for a long time, then again be born. So that's what happens. आज्ञा एवं गुणान दोषान मयादिष्टानपि स्वकान धर्मान संत्यज्य ये सर्वान माम भजेत स सत्तमः. So there is one word cha missing here. It should be mam bhajet sacha sattam. So he says that in this way, after knowing the guna and dosa, virtue and vice of dharma, which have been ordained by me, he gives up that dharma and worships exclusively me. So that person, he says, is the best of sadhus or best of devotees. अथ केवलाया भक्तेः प्रवर्तकं संत्यज्य सत्तमय उक्तः. So he says that one who propagates only kevala bhakti, pure bhakti, so for him it is said that he santajya sarvan dharman mam bhajet satu sattam. So this is, the meaning is that he does not think that he needs Gyan Marg or Karam Marg or anything else to attain perfection. This is his belief. Evam maya veda रूपेण आदिष्टानपि सर्वान् धर्मान् संत्यज्य मद भक्तौ एव श्रद्धा विशेषवत्तया सम्यक prakaraneva tyaktva yo mam bhajet. So he says that the karma marg is also instructed by me in the form of Veda, because it is Veda which is instructing karma marg, varnashram. This is the prominent teaching of the Veda. So although it is also my instruction in the form of Veda, but he gives up all that. And mad bhaktau eva shraddha visheshvatya. Why is that? Because his shraddha, his faith is only in my devotion or devotion to me. So what does it mean that he has shraddha vishesh? So he has this faith, this shraddha, that it is bhakti only which will give me perfection and nothing else. And I don't need to depend on anything. So just like you see some people, they are devoted to one deity. And then you see there are others who worship many. That let's worship Devi, let's Lakshmi, Durga, Ganesh. Also we have to give water to the peepal tree on Saturday. Right? So they think that we have to do all this. So that means their shraddha is scattered in different. They are not avyabhichari. They are not devoted to just one. So when he says shraddha vishesh, so shraddha visheshta pritir. So this is what it means, shraddha vishesh. Shraddha, general shraddha, you can have in many things, but this is specific shraddha, not having shraddha in anything else. So not having shraddha in anything else does not mean that you have hatred, dislike or disrespect for others, No, you respect them, and this is the complete teaching of Bhāgavatam, Vedas ultimately, that there is a one reality. Only thing is that when you study the Vedas, Upanishads, you really don't become very clear. As you become clear here studying Bhāgavatam, what is that ultimate reality? Mostly you hear the word Brahman, but then it doesn't mean anything. What is this Brahman? You say, oh, it is just Nirvikar, what is that? And how can you have Shraddha in it? So that's why the importance of Bhāgavatam, that's why Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priya. So Sarvedant Saram Yad Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ishyate. So this is the Sara, this essence of the Vedanta, of the Upanishad, which is described here. So this type of clear understanding is not there. You go around in India, people don't have clear understanding. Even many Vaishnavas, they don't have very clear understanding. They just follow the routine thing. So when it is said, and if you don't have clear understanding, then it is difficult to have Shraddha. It is possible if it is coming from past life. So that also he will speak in the next verse, Gyatva Gyatva Vata. But here he says, Shraddha Visheshvataya Samyak Prakarineva Tyaktva Santyajya. So Tyajya means having given up. Santyajya means completely given up. There is no lingering around that maybe doubt, if I don't do this, what will happen? Nothing like that. So yo mam bhajet, one who worships me. So now the question is that one who worships you giving up everything, this can happen because of two reasons. One is kim agyanat, is he giving up because of ignorance? Means sometimes we don't do many things because we don't know that we are supposed to do it. So is it that he is in ignorance that he is supposed to follow the dharma? Or nastikyadva, or he doesn't believe in it. He knows but doesn't believe. So that's why it says kim agyanat nastikyadva. So na dharmacharane sattva suddhyadin gunan vipakshe doshansya agya. He says no, that is not true. He is not like that he is ignorant or he doesn't have understanding. But he knows that if you perform dharma, if you execute your duties, then it will improve your heart, chitta, purification of heart will come, sattva suddhi adin gunan. And he also knows that if you do not follow your duties, then you become implicated. He knows this. So doshansya agya samyag eva gyatvapi. So although he knows all this, but still he only takes to bhakti. Why is that? It says bhaktya eva me sarvam bhavishyati ti dridhanishyeneva dharman santyajyati swamicharana. So he says that he has this firm belief that I will attain perfection only by bhakti. So this is very important. This is what Shraddha means. That my ultimate benefit will come only by bhakti and not by anything else. Other things may be needed for your sustenance, for your existence, but to think that some ultimate good is going to come from them, that he does not believe. So this type of faith is not very common among the devotees also. Because when you will have this type of faith, then you will take to bhakti seriously. And then all these good qualities which are mentioned, they will become manifest naturally. So this is what this also means, and he will say it here in commentary, that the previous one is trying to practice those qualities and this person does not do that. Because bhakti will bring all the good qualities. Sarvai gunais tatra samasate sura. So that is if one has the faith. So that's what it says here. Bhaktya eva me sarvam bhavishyati iti dridhanashchayaneva dharman santaj. So he has this dridhanashchaya. So what is that? Shastra yukta uchyanupana sarvatha dridhanashchaya prauಢ shraddha savai bhaktama uttama. So this is the uttama adhikari for bhakti, that he has dridha nishchaya, sarvatha dridha nishchaya, and this dridha nishchaya comes because of the shraddha. Therefore, it is called praud shraddha, that he has very strong shraddha. So that's what he used the word shraddha vishesh. So that is the reason. This is also this is how Sridhar Swami has also explained. So such a sattama iti. So now he decodes this word sattama. So he says he is sattama means he is the best. So who is better and who is good? Then he speaks. He says purvadhikari dharman na santajya bhajed ayam tu santajya eva iti bheda. So he says that the earlier one, he also worships Bhagavan. Because if he is Sattama, then there is a Sattara. If he is the best, then there is a better. So what will be the difference between better and best? So best is one who gives up all dharma and worships me, and the other one is he does not give up. So that means there is a mixture. So that may sound good that he is not giving up and this person is giving up. This is also how the clash come, especially Sri Vaishnavas. So they are very firm on this. And this is our difference from them, and they keep on attacking on this point, that how can you say this and where is it said. So here you can see it very clearly. Krishna himself is saying it. Santajya dharman. So the previous one therefore is Sattara. He is second level and this is third level. This is the difference. Tatha purvaha kripalutvadi sampurna gunvan eva sattamaha. Ayam tu visheshanantar anupadanat tavat sankhyak gunvatva bhavepi sattama. So now he says that the previous one will become sattama only if he has all those qualities. Then he is sattama. And this person, he says that he doesn't need all these qualities, he is sattama without that. This is the difference. Nacha asya tavad guna bhav eva iti ashankaniyam. So then does it mean that this person does not have the good qualities like kripalu, adroha, akridroha, etc.? So he says no, that's not true. But he is not trying to cultivate them separately or independently, because it is says bhakti paresanubhava viraktir anyatra chaisetra keka kala prapadya manasya yathashnitasya tushti pushti kshadapayo anughasam. That one who engages in bhakti, then he gets experience of Bhagavan, paresanubhava and virakti everywhere else. And he has love for Bhagavan. These things happen simultaneously. Ekakala, just like when you eat food, Then pushti tushti kshadapaya. That you feel nourished, you feel satisfied, and your hunger is quelled. And then yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kanchana sarve gunai tatra sama sarve gunis tatra samasate sura. So one who has pure devotion to Bhagavan, then all good qualities along with the devas become manifest in such a devotee. And harav bhaktasya kuto mahad guna anarthena bhavato vahi. But one who is not a devotee of Bhagavan, where are the good qualities? So ityadi shravanad achirenaiva sarva dosha upsaman purvak sarva gunodayasya tatra avasyam bhavitvat. So he says this person who engages in devotion only, giving up everything. So he says that in him also all the good qualities will become manifest without long, and all the bad qualities will disappear. Sarva dosha upsam. So this is the distinction he is giving in these two. Kincha purva jita shadgunatvat siddha dasa avastha eva sattama. Ayam tu tadrishatva anukte sadhak dasa avasthepi sattama. So he says that the previous one will be called also sattama when he has attained perfection. Means when he is first mixing karma with bhakti, then jnana with bhakti, and then he attains perfection, then only he will be called sattama. But this one is sattama even when he is in the practice stage. Then also he is sattama. So this is also the difference. Ayam tu tadrishatva nukte sadhak dasha avasthopi sattama ityasya purvata etavan vyanjita utkarsha. So in this way he shows the superiority of this one from the previous one. Prathamta eva suddha bhakti mattvāc geya. Why? Because he is engaging in Shuddha Bhakti from the very beginning stage. He is not coming to Shuddha Bhakti stage afterwards, gradually. But he is engaging in Shuddha Bhakti from the start, because that is the meaning. Dharman satyajya mam bhajet sacha sattama. So that is the commentary of this verse. Then he goes one more level up. So he says, Jnatva gyatvat yeva imam yavan yaschasmi yadrishaha bhajanti ananya bhavena te me bhakta tamamataha. So he says, whether knowing or not knowing what I am, how much I am, what kind of I am, the person worships me with ananya bhav, with one-pointed devotion. So such a person is called bhaktatama. Earlier he used the word sattama, best of the saints, if you translate it. And here he says he is best of the bhaktas. So although previous one is also a bhakta, but the word used was sattama. And here he specifically uses the word bhaktatama, best of the bhaktas. So why? Because this person has natural attraction. So he may also know, but that is not his condition. The previous one was agnya eva gunan doshan mayadishtana piswakan dharman santajya. So after knowing, he has knowledge, but this one he says he may have, he may not have. But he worships me. So gyatva iti vipsha. So he says this word gyatva has to be repeated because yavan iti gyatva yaschasmi iti gyatva yadrishascha iti gyatva. So that repetition has to be done 3 times. Why is that? Because Krishna says bhaktya aham ekaya grahya iti madukte. Because Krishna says that I am understood only by bhakti. So therefore, to know him, what I am, how I exist, all this is not possible without bhakti. So therefore, gyatva, agyatva has to be applied there. Then bhakti tartamyena man madhuryam adhikadhikam pratikshanam anubhav grochri kritya ityartha. So he says that according to the level of one's devotion, the person experiences the sweetness of Bhagavan at every moment, and it keeps on increasing more and more. So then he comments on these words, Yavan yaschasmi yadrisha. Yavan means as much, ya means as, and yadrisha means what type. So it says, Yavan kal desabhyam aparichinno api aham bhakti ichhavashat parichinnascha. So generally Yavan means how much, that means one becomes limited. So he says that although I am not limited by time, place, object, but I appeared limited, being controlled by the devotion of my devotee. So although he is all pervading, he is everywhere, but to the devotee he appears in a limited form. So that is the meaning of Yavan. So means the devotee may know what he is, that he looks like this, but he is actually all pervading, or he may not know. Doesn't matter. Then yascha, then who am I? Sakshat par brahma api aham syam sundar akaro vasudev putrasya. So I am directly the Supreme Brahman, but I am also Syam Sundarakar. I am in this particular form. Supreme Brahman is everywhere invisible, but he is manifest in this beautiful form as son of Vasudev. So this may also be known to him or not. I mean, the first part may be known, may not be known. Second part, of course, he knows. Then Yadrishaha Atma Rama Apta Kamo Api Aham Bhakta Prem Vaivashyat Anatma Ramo Anapt Kamas. So what is my characteristic? So he says that I am actually Atma Ram, means I just take pleasure within my own self, and I am Apta Kam, I don't have any desires, all my desires are fulfilled. But being controlled by the love of my devotee, I become Anatmaram and Anaptakama. I become as if I need something from outside. I need association of others, my friends, gopis, and therefore Anaptakama. I also have desires. I get hungry. I need food. So he broke the pot because he was hungry. So he says it becomes like that. Ananya bhavena ekantikattvena iti va te iti gauravena. So he worships Bhagavan by ananya bhavena. Bhajanti ananya bhavena. So ananya bhavena means ekantikattvena. So this, he is the only worshipable, no one else. Plural is used here, bhaktatama. Says te me bhaktatama. So there are two ways it can be understood, that he is only some rare person who is like this, but out of respect he is using plural, or there are more devotees. So iti gaurvena bahutvam bhaktatama mata iti पूर्वोक्त लक्षण सत्तम एव मया मद भक्त सिद्धेनुच्य तुमे भक्तम मया सम्मत. So he says that this plural usage is out of respect, so that is to show that this type of devotee is very rare. And then he also shows the contrast, that the previous one was called Sattama and this is called Bhaktatama. So between Sattama and Bhaktatama, it is the Bhakta who is more dear to him. So that is also the significance. So that means this is what is more pleasing to him. And this also signifies that this person has a natural liking for bhakti. He is not doing bhakti because of some Vedhi principles, but he likes it. Bhushan.
I'm just trying to understand the the position of Sattara here. The Sattara, his goal is bhakti, and the Sattara is doing, let's say, parts of karma. But I would imagine that the Sattara thinks that he or she is doing the parts of karma to help his bhakti only. He would not be doing it independently of bhakti, right? So in that sense, it would still become Sangha Siddha Bhakti, wouldn't it? He's not doing anything independently. He has no, like, he may do some yajna, like Bharat Maharaj, when he was doing yajna, he saw like it's all offering to Vishnu. So he may be doing other dharmic activities, understanding that it's Vishnu who is pleased, because it is Vishnu's order that I do the nitya and naimittika karma. So by doing that, Vishnu himself is pleased. And that will improve my bhakti, because I am doing something to please Vishnu.
But here he says, Maya dushtanapi swakan santyajya, that although they are instructed by me, he gives up and performs bhakti.
Okay, so even those actions which are not directly to bhakti, if you give it up and do only actions of bhakti, they are superior.
Yeah, that's what Krishna is saying also. Sarv dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja. So bhakti is the param dharma. This is only dharma, that is param dharma.
If I may ask a follow-up question. In the modern setting, I don't do a yajna or something, but let's say I go to a temple of Lord Shiva, understanding that Shiva is a great devotee because it's nearby or something. Would that, because Anya Devata is not directly part of any Anga of Bhakti, the Bhakti Rasamrasa, so would that still be in the Vishnu kind of way? Although I'm doing it for Bhakti purpose only, but it is not directly an Anga of Bhakti. So giving it up and directly going to Krishna temple, if possible, that would be superior.
No, yes, you are going because Shiva is a Vaishnava, that is part of bhakti. Doing service to Krishna or Krishna bhaktas. Anukulyana Krishnanushilanam means Krishna and Krishna Sambandhi. So you do service to Krishna and anything related to him, that's bhakti. If you think of Shiva as an independent God and then you worship, then it is different. Sandeep.
Pranam Babaji Maharaj. So regarding this last shloka 33, I want to understand with respect to the sandarbhas. So in sandarbhas we did that there are two kinds of shraddha, samajik and shastriya. And it was concluded that shastriya shraddha is more conducive for devotion, and that person is more fixed in bhakti compared to the samajik shraddha. But general observation, I have seen that in various many Rajput families, they are not they are not studying Shastra, etc., but they have very firm faith that regarding Sham Sundar, and then they will have a temple in their house. So it looks like that Samajik Shraddha. And from this verse 33, it's looking that they are better than the one who is having Shastriya Shraddha. So I am a little confused on this. Can you please clarify?
No, the confusion is because you are not understanding another thing which says Ananya Bhavena. Bhajanti Ananya Bhavena. So that is something which you cannot understand. What is somebody's bhav? You can also worship with strong faith for material desire. It's not that you are not having Ananya Bhav. Means what you are saying that they don't have Shastric knowledge but they are very devoted, that's fine. But do they have Ananya Bhav? So Ananya Bhav means that Anyabhilashita Sunyam, do they have other desires? So that is not easy to say unless you observe somebody. If you just see somebody one time, two times, okay, it looks very devoted person, but we have to see where their heart is. But the general rule of thumb is this, that such devotion which he is describing here is very, 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 very rare. So that is to be kept in mind.
Babaji, like I stayed in one of those families.
Yeah, I'm not denying if they are like that, let them be so. I'm not saying that it's not possible. But whether it is really or not, I cannot say unless I have an experience. But if you think like this, fine, what is my problem? Okay. So Mallinga Mad Bhaktajan Darshana Sparshanarchanam Paricharya Stuti Prabha Guna Karmanu Kirtanam. So now he is describing some of the activities of devotion, because this was also the question asked by Uddhava. What are the activities done by devotees? So he says Mallinga Mad Bhakta Jana Darshana Sparshana Archanam Paricharya Stuti Prabha Guna Karmanu Kirtanam. So means to have darshan, to see, sparsha, touch, archana, worship, paricharya, service, stuti, praise, prabha, to give obeisances, guna karmanu kirtanam, to praise the qualities and activities of Mallinga, my form, and Madbhakta. So both. So all these activities apply to both, to Krishna and his devotee. So this also answers Bhushan's question when he was saying going to Shiva temple and knowing that he is a bhakta. So here Krishna himself is including my bhakta. So to have darshan, sparshan, archan of my bhakta, paricharya, stuti. So these are activities of devotion. So yaduktam bhakti stvai kidrishi upyukta iti tatra. So the question was asked by Uddhava that what kind of bhakti is appropriate for you. So now he is replying that. Madlinga mad bhakta jana ityatra shashti luk arsha. So he says that the word madlinga and mad bhakta, this should have been in the sixth case. Mallinga mata bhakta janasya. Should have been like that. But it is not. So he says this is harsh usage, so tolerate it. Uttarardhe api anvayat. Why is he saying this? It seems like there is no problem because it's part of the samas or compound. Mallinga madbhakta jana darsana sparsana archana. They're doing darshan, sparsa and archana of my linga, my vigraha, my deity form and my devotee. So you make a samas. So like you say madbhakta archanam, madbhakta darshanam, madbhakta sparsanam. You don't need sixth case. So why is he saying that sixth case should have been there but it is not, so it is arsha? Because if you think it is part of samasa, then you cannot apply the paricharya, stuti, prabha, gunakya, karmanukirtanam. Then, because once you put something in the compound word, then it becomes gauna. So if you say Dasrath putrasya griha, and you say Dasrath putrasya graha, Dasrath putra graha, griha, house of Dasrath's son. So after that the Dasrath putra griha, and then you say Rathascha, the chariot. Now the chariot, whose chariot is it? You cannot say son of Dasrath because Dasrath's son is Gauna, secondary. So that's why he says that it has to be Uttarardhepi Anvayat. What is the meaning of the word Prabha? Prabhatvam Namaskara. Prabhatva means to bow down. So these are the activities of devotion. Then next he says Mat Katha Shravane Shraddha Madanudhyana Uddhava Sarva Labhopaharanam Dasyena Atma Nivedanam. So he says to have Shraddha in hearing my Katha. So have Shraddha in hearing Krishna Katha. That's how bhakti begins, Ado Shraddha. And Madanudhyana Uddhava, and also meditating on me, Uddhava. Then Sarva Labha Upaharanam, all the labha, benefit, profit should be offered to me. It should not be for one's own enjoyment. And Dasyena Atma Nivedanam, and to offer oneself in the mood of servitorship. So mainly he is talking about Dasya Bhakti here. Sarva Labhopaharanam Bhāgavata eva svayavartham swayam anitamiti buddhya sarva labdha vastuno mamtapa aspadasya tasmai samarpanam. So he gives a very nice understanding. If you do some job, some business, some activity, and you get some benefit from that, some profit, whether it is monetary profit, if you are doing farming, some crop, or some other product if you are manufacturing. So he says all that labha, whatever you attain, sarva labdha vastuna, all the objects which you attain, then you should think like this, that it is Bhagwan only who has given me this to serve him. So if you think like that, then you remain safe. Otherwise you start thinking, now I got so much profit, so I give 10% to Bhagwan, and then I go on some enjoyment trip. But if you think that it is given by him only for his seva, then your trip has no scope, unless you borrow from somebody. So he says, Sarvastuno mamtaspadasya tasmai samarpanam. In other words, what is saying that all objects all things which you think belong to you, you have this sense that this is my. He says they should be all offered to him. Tasmai samarpanam. So what does it mean? That they all belong to him only. And this whole idea that they belong to me is an illusion. Then dasyena hetuna atmano jivasya dehasya cha hamtaspadasya api samarpanam. So dasyena atmanivetanam. So it has two meanings. It can be taken because he said dasyena hetuna, he says because of being in the mood of dasya, one should offer one's life to him because that's what das is. So aham taspadasyapi. So the previous part was saying that you should offer everything which you think is yours. And dasyena atmanivedanam is saying that you should also offer one who thinks it is my. So we have I and we have my. So samarpan of my and also of I. Of course, if you offer the I, then my is naturally offered. But that may be difficult, so first offer the my and then the I. Because it's very difficult to give up the I thing, especially in this age of everything being I. iPad, iPhone, I this, iMac. So there are so many I's now, all around. So he says, aham taspadasya api samarpanam. That this aham taspad, that thing on which you have the sense of I, that also offer. Majjanma karma kathanam mam parvanumodanam Gita Tandav Vaditra Goshti Bhirmada Grihotsava. So he says that you should recite my activities, my birth. So read those stories, speak about them. And Mama Parvanumodanam. When there is a Parva, festivals like Janmashtami, Radhashtami, these are Parvas, festival times, so celebrate them. And then Gita Tandava Vaditra Goshti Bhirmad Grihotsava. To make festival in the temple of Bhagavan, which is his house, by singing, dancing, playing music and having goshti, so having meetings, smritis, what you call vidvat sabha, discussions. So that is all part of devotion. So janma karma kathanamiti anukirtana kathanayo. So he says that this should be repeatedly done. Raga swara taladi yuktatva ayuktatvabhyam bhedo. Anukirtan kathanayo. So what is the difference between katha and anukirtan? So he's saying that kathan means speaking without music, etc. Kirtan means to repeat the same thing but in a musical fashion with the instruments, with ragas, swara, tala, all these rhythms. So that is the difference between them. Parvani Janmashtami Adini. What is Parva? Festival means such as Krishna's birthday. Tesham Anumodanam eva ahadvabhyam. So it should be celebrated. Anumodan means also approval. If you are not able to do it, at least watch someone else doing it. So Gita Dibhi Madgrihadhi Karnak Utsava. So by singing, etc., should be done in the temple, Madgriha. So we'll stop here, we will continue more activities of bhakti. Okay, anybody any question? No? All right.